the obvious question, how much money should you spend on hockey skates?
Absolutely. There's obviously going to be low-end skates. There's going to be higher-end skates. Our top-end price is about $1,100 Canadian, which seems like a lot of money for sure. Yeah, I would encourage people to spend a bit of money on skates. You don't want to cheap out. You don't want to buy 200 or if you find $100 skates. You don't really want to buy those and have your feet hurting or have to replace them in a year. We have retail skates for about $500 that are really good. There's the Bauer X4 and X5 or the M4. So these skates all kind of sit around a $500 to $600 price range Canadian. And I think honestly as an entry-level skate, those are a great option. There's nothing worse than skating out there and then you come off and you're sitting on the bench like, oh, my feet are killing me, right? Like you wanna be comfortable.
So is there a performance element to a slightly more expensive skate than the bottom of the line that you would notice as somebody who's, at a beer league level?
I think so. Yeah, it would be the supports. You want more ankle support, especially if you're starting out, because it'll keep your ankles secure and then you're not kind of bending all over the place, which in turn would hurt your feet a little bit. It comes down to sizing as well. If you get the wrong size for feet, you're gonna hurt anyway. But yes, if you have a lower end model skate that isn't quite the same composite hard skate that they make at the top end, then yeah, you're risking a little bit of your feet just not molding to the boot properly and it just kind of becomes uncomfortable that way.
Okay, so let's establish then that you don't necessarily have to go and drop $1,000 on a new pair of skates, but also not a good idea to just find the least expensive pair of skates available and buy those and expect to enjoy yourself.
Exactly, yeah.
So when we've established now that, you're gonna spend, call it, $400, $500, $600 on a new pair of skates, let's go with sizing. How do I know how big my skate should be?
So right off the bat, you want to try something that is about 2 sizes less than your shoe size. Sometimes with like a real top end skate, you can go closer to even 3 sizes, which is what I personally do. Some people call me crazy, but just the way they fit, you can get kind of a tight fit in there. You want to consider width as well. If you know yourself to have a pretty wide foot, then something like an E or double E width is what they call it in CCM. D is regular width, so you got D, E, double E, all increasing in the width. Bauer skates they call it volume. It's a similar concept to CCM's width, but the volume is fit 1, fit 2, and fit 3. Same concept, fit 1 is gonna be a narrow skate. They call it volume because it's not just the width at that point, it's gonna be the volume kind of top to bottom here. So if you have a tall foot, this tongue, it might hit, and you wear the wrong volume, the tongue could press down onto the top of your foot, causing discomfort there. You might have heard of lace bite before, which
I suffered from lace bite.
Yeah, so it could be an issue of the skate not having enough volume because the laces are biting down just too much.
So it sounds like the things to consider with the size of your skates are, so the size, which would be the length, the width, and then volume, which is almost sort of how high the boot of the actual skate is. Are there ways that you can sort of measure at home to know what you're looking for so that you're educated going into the skate shop?
If you actually trace your foot on a piece of paper, you can measure this length and divide it by the width. You'll get a width ratio. It's something along the lines of if it's over 2.5, you'll need a high volume boot. And if it's lower than 1, you want a low volume boot. Yeah, super easy ways to do it from home for sure. Skates are a tough one, like trying them on is beneficial, but if you don't have the means, and there's no harm in doing it at home.
But it's also good to know a little bit more about what you're looking for so you can narrow down your options when you are at the skate shop, and now you're probably looking at this size, you're probably looking at this width, you're probably looking at this volume, you're probably looking within this price point.
Yeah.
Now, it's kind of, I guess, a little bit of deciding which ones you think look the coolest that are within all of these different parameters.
A Bauer Supreme is gonna be naturally a little bit wider boot. A Bauer Vapor is gonna be naturally a little bit more narrow and less volume in the boot. So those specific models will have different colors, but they also kind of cater to a certain type of skating style as well. A CCM Jet Speed will be that same kind of narrower fit, and then a CCM Tax will be a little bit wider fit for you. So keeping those in mind, if you're like, oh, I have a really wide foot, then maybe get a high volume in a Supreme, and you're gonna get the best of both worlds and get a skate that'll fit you properly. Laces, there's waxed and non-waxed. So non-waxed doesn't hold as tight as waxed. Not to say it doesn't hold, but if you're looking for a really tight fit and you like squeezing them tight, that might take a few skates to figure out what works for you.
Right.
I prefer wax laces so that whenever I tie them in the room, it stays that for the whole skate. Right. You know what I mean? Like sometimes I have found personally that non-wax laces, you rip them really tight and then halfway through the skate, you're like, I just feel like they're loosening a little bit. Right. Tying your skate is about as basic as tying your shoe. There's nothing crazy about it. I'll show you one trick at the top to get a tight fit around your ankle. Especially on new skates nowadays, there's a lot of composite pieces going on, so getting a tight ankle here is a little bit of work sometimes, so I'll show you a little trick to do it. But I'm just gonna move up here. Tying, if you pull and point your toe away as you pull, it'll give you a little bit more leverage there. You definitely wanna tie them tighter than you would a shoe. You want a snug fit. If you tie them really tight and you do find that your feet are hurting a bit, then maybe you go a little bit less tight the next time.
I've found that, sorry for getting in on this,
no, you're good.
I've found that I try to go less tight here and as tight as I can up on the ankle.
Right.
As often I'll find that my feet will get sore halfway through the skate. And if I loosen in the middle, it kind of relieves some of that pressure.
Sure.
That also could be that I didn't buy skates that are wide enough.
It could possibly be, absolutely, because at the end of the day, you should be able to tie your skates tight, but skates are a tricky one because there's so much intricacies to it, but if you need to do a little trick like that to save your feet from hurting, then absolutely you should do that. So at the top here, I'm gonna give this one last pull. So you see that you kind of pull it, you'll see the sides go in, but then you let go and they go out again, like right here. So I'll take the lace on the same side, opposed to crossing it over. I'll go in the outside there and make a little loop, just like that, and do the same on the other side. And then just leave these flopping in the middle. So now you have two loops on either end here. I'll take the right lace with the wax tip on it through this hole, and then the left lace with the wax tip through the hole on the right side. And then basically you'll see this, it kind of just creates a tighter fit. So when I squeeze it there, these are brand new skates, so they are pretty stiff. But I'll go like that, and then I'll cross my skates over. So now I'm pulling them tight like this, and it just really holds them the whole time. And then I'll also always do a double loop up here. So two loops at the top there, tie it down like that, and then pull it up nice and tight like this. And then if I reef on it again, kind of hold that down as you make your bunny ears as well. The little trick I showed you helps hold it all together there, but I just find that really holds the ankle really tight and gives you a nice fit.
Cool.
So we're just gonna do a 5/8 cut hollow on these. 5/8 hollow is pretty common.
So what's the benefit of sharpening at 7/8 versus 5/8?
7/8 is a nicer glide. You still have a sharp edge, whether it's 7/8 or 1 inch or 5/8. A lot of guys, senior A players that come in here, they have me hand sharpen them or this. It depends on the preference of the player. This machine, it's always the same every time they sharpen a skate. So it's very consistent. So it goes along with whatever profile is set on your skate blade. If you're a defenseman, you tend to have a little bit more of a relaxed upward, depending on whether or not you're a rushing defenseman or whatever. Some defensemen like a leaning forward profile. So nothing is really written in stone. I like my knees over my toes, and I like to be able to dig in and transition from forward to backward, backward to forward.
And so the profile is sort of the shape of the blade beneath your feet.
These are all templates for profiling. This is our profile machine. We can do up to 2 complete sets of the same size of blade at once. This is it's almost as important, if not as more important, to get the final finish on the edge, right? So you want to make sure you have a consistent, nice, sharp finish.
Do you have a strong callus on that thumb?
Yeah, I've been doing it a few years. And we have a huge following of customers that come here to get their skate sharpened because they like the consistency and they want them done properly, right? So I'm all about, and if I feel one that's off on one blade, I get the both skates and I sharpen them both.
How much of the blade are you losing every time you sharpen the skates?
I mean, I say very minuscule, but it's depending on whether there's a big gouge of the blade or not. Who's next? The thing about this machine is you can set a goalie skate in here. My hockey skate, my goalie skate, I have my figure skate holder. They're all set for different thicknesses of blades. So, and then they're all matched up with that. So with this, it's just a push of a button. Make sure you have the right wheel in there and a push of a button and set it.
And you'll have customers who specifically request that you sharpen their skates on the manual machine.
Sometimes it's a personal preference of a hockey player, where mom and dad, they just want the consistency of this machine, right? Whatever makes a customer more comfortable, that's how I'm gonna look after them. The majority of people that come in here, they ask for a 5/8 cut. You get the odd goalie that wants a 3/8 cut. You get the old school goalies, they want the 3/4 cut because it's a wider, less aggressive hollow. So sharper means that you're gonna sink in the ice and dig in the ice more. Then they don't have to worry about whether or not when they go to turn, they're gonna be able to turn with total confidence, right? And that's the great thing about quick release blades nowadays, right? So you can essentially sharpen a set of every blade, right? So you can try each one. Yeah,
interesting. Would you say 5/8 being the most common sharpness is probably the right one for somebody to start with?
To start out, yeah. I mean, it's a forgiving hollow. It's not too deep. It's not too shallow. So you try that. I mean, you get a little bit sharper. So you can go to 9/16. Right. Whatever the hollow is, we write it down
and if you don't know, do you just pick 5/8 as a default?
Yeah, for the new customer.
Right.
Yeah. I have people come in and they have video of their child skating, and that helps me adjust their skate blade.
So you can tell based on how they're even just
how they're standing, how they're striding. Yep. Yeah, if they're upright too much.
Okay, interesting.
And some of them are new, some of them aren't, but we try to make it a universal profile. So there's your straight up and down kind of middle of the skate blade. So if little Johnny's skating and standing straight up, you'll want to try to get him a little bit more profile.
So you take a bit of the front of the blade off so that he's
leaning forward a little bit more.
Okay.
Right? And vice versa. If you're way too forward more, then we'll shave off a little bit back this way towards point of center.
How do you set your profile up if you're sharpening for a defense?
Again, point of center, a little bit back, right? If they're doing that much more skating backwards, but not everything is written in stone, right?
Right.
Biggest thing that I run into is transition from forward to backward is a piece skate. Backward to forward is not.
And they're finding when they do transition from backwards to forwards, they're not properly balanced.
That's right, and they'll pick. They'll either heel pick or toe pick, depending on how their skates are profiled and sharpened. Some hockey players, they don't even need a profile. They'll just grab a box. There's my brand new skate, my brand new blade. Let's sharpen it. Say that this is your brand new steel that's never been touched. That's just coarse right from the factory. So then we want to get some fresh new metal there. So you put this, run it on the roughing wheel or cross grinder wheel, and get it set up for ready to either A, profile, or B, just sharpen it right after that. Yep.
It feels like the thing to do if you're getting new skates, and let's say you're new to skating or it's been a couple decades since you've been out there, you're putting these new skates on, chances are you're going to want to sharpen them at 5/8. Chances are you're going to want to keep the profile that was sort of stock on that blade.
Yep.
And then as you progress through learning and improving your skating, if you're noticing that you are leaning forward or backward, you can adjust the profile accordingly to help you feel more balanced.
Yeah, you can do that.
Cool.
100%. I just love it. It's a passion with me, and it's what I love to do, right? And working here at Hockey Stick Man it's pretty fun. I love it.
That's cool, man.
Yep. Well, thanks a lot.
Absolute pleasure. Cheers.
My pleasure.